On this episode of the Massive Agent Podcast, we'll talk about the one thing, the one variable that's standing in your way of massive success in your real estate business. And the good news is you fully control it.
The Massive Agent Podcast, with lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 71 of the Massive Agent Podcast. Thanks for joining. I am your host, Dustin Brohm, and this is, of course, the number one podcast on planet Earth, hosted by me, and the number one podcast on planet Earth that starts with the word massive. So there you go. We have those accolades, which we're very, very proud of, as we should be. We are a proud founding member of the Industry Syndicate, the first media network in the real estate industry. You could check out all of our other shows and show hosts that have other great shows for mortgage, for real estate, marketing. We have the number one appraisal show on the planet in our network over at industrysyndicate.com. Today's show is going to be short and sweet, but I think very impactful. So there's a reason why librarians aren't all billionaires, right? Information is not the key to success. All right. Sure. You need information. 100%. You need information, but taking action is the key to success. If you don't actually implement the shit that you just learned about, that you got yourself all excited about and worked up about, I might step on some toes here, but I'm doing it out of love. I get messages from you guys. They're like, oh, that's so cool. I just learned this new thing, whatever. 9 out of 10 don't ever do it. You guys just don't implement the shit that you learn and that you get all excited about. Look, to a certain extent, we all do that, right? I'm guilty of that in my life. It's a human thing. I get it. But if you're sitting there struggling in your business and you're frustrated and but then you look and you haven't done anything new in the last 3 years, that's a clue. So we're going to dive deep on exactly how to get started implementing this stuff that could change your business and change your life forever. So this show will be very impactful. So we're going to do that. If you are new to the show, my name is Dustin Brohm, your host. I am a realtor in Salt Lake City, Utah with eXp Realty. I'm the co-founder of the Industry Syndicate, the first media network in our industry, and the founder of the Massive Agent Society. That is our Facebook lead generation training support coaching program. You can learn more at massiveagentsociety.com. Guys, super, super exciting. So we launched our new show that I've been telling you about called Industry Connected. We already did episode 1. So last Friday, we did episode number 1. It's a Facebook live video show on the Industry Syndicate Facebook page. The first episode is different than the rest of the episodes. Okay. It was really just me laying the groundwork, setting expectations, letting you know what the show is about, and teasing a little bit. Episode 2, which comes out tomorrow, if you're listening, if you subscribe to the show, thank you, then you're getting this and hearing this on Thursday. So tomorrow, Friday, is a brand new episode of Industry Connected. We have an interview every single week with top leaders in our industry. This show is for agents and loan officers. It's specifically to connect the industry, both sides of the aisle, if you will. I hear all the time from the mortgage side of the business and the agent side of the business that, well, if mortgage people only knew this, or if agents only knew this about what we do on the mortgage side. Well, let's frickin' talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like, why are shows only focused on one side or the other? I understand. I mean, this show is more for agents. I mean, Massive Agent Podcast, but I saw this huge need for a show that spoke to both sides, that agents and their lender partners could both tune into and both get value out of and learn actionable stuff that they can go implement together. And our stated purpose is really to remove heads from asses. Remove heads from asses, because there's so much disruption happening on so many fronts that not having open, honest discussions about those things is doing us all a huge disservice. And the vast majority of us are going to wake up one morning and be like, oh, where'd my business go? Because we had our heads in our asses. So Industry Connected is the solution. Tune in every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time for the Facebook Live video show on the Industry Syndicate Facebook page. And it will be a podcast as well. It'll be put on YouTube. It will become a podcast. So pretty soon you can start finding Industry Connected as a podcast and listen that way. So if you've been watching, thanks for supporting our new show. One final note before I jump into the roadmap of how to actually implement all this awesome stuff that you've learned, all these strategies that you want to implement but haven't. We're going to get into the roadmap, but one quick note. We've had a lot of growth in the Massive Agent Society since we did the special on the lifetime memberships. That sale has passed, but we've had, just in the last couple weeks, we've had so many markets sold out. Here's the way the Massive Agent Society works. We only allow one agent or one loan officer per market to join. We now offer lifetime memberships. So that means once a loan officer or an agent joins in Clearwater, Florida, which is a sold out market now, they've basically taken that market off the map forever. So, if you hear this podcast 6 months later and you're like, damn it, you didn't know about it. I'm sorry. Lifetime membership, you get access to everything that we do, all future courses, coaching programs, whatever, for free. Lifetime membership. And here's some perspective for you. All right. So Tom Ferry is one of the most well-known coaches in our industry, right? And I have a lot of criticisms of him, but he's doing something right, especially on a business level. He has a very good business. However, I have a serious problem with the value that I see people are getting or not getting. For example, Tom Ferry coaching. Okay. I know an agent here in Salt Lake that he was brand new. He whipped out his credit card, signed up for a 1 year, because they only do a year minimum, of Tom Ferry coaching. $1,600 for 3 months. So for the year, $6,400, $6,400 for the year. And you never actually get to talk with Tom Ferry. You just get one of his coaches. So it's Tom Ferry's coaching, but you don't actually get coached by him. If you want personal coaching, it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. I have a problem with that. Not to say that the coaching's not good, but guess what? You don't have to spend $6,400 for just a year and not ever get to actually speak to the wizard behind the curtain. You know what I mean? So the Massive Agent Society, a lifetime membership. Okay, you pay one time. There's no recurring monthly fee, nothing more to pay ever. You get a free chat bot built for you, one-on-one coaching call with me, and then access to everything that we do for less than half of the cost of 1 year with Tom Ferry, or rather one of his coaches. So lifetime membership, you get me all the time, full access to me, one-on-one coaching from me for less than half the cost, for less than the cost of 6 months of coaching with Tom Ferry. So once your market's sold out, it's gone. I'm going to quickly run down some of the sold out markets that you guys have bought lifetime memberships for. So these markets are gone forever, unfortunately for you. So don't snooze on this. Go to massiveagentsociety.com, go to the toolbar at the top, click on claim market, and see on a map if your market's available. If it is, I strongly suggest you take advantage of an annual or a lifetime membership to make sure no one else can get it. Because we don't want 20 different agents running the same ads, because we give you a database of ads to run. We don't want 20 other agents running the same ads as you. That sucks. So Oceanside, California, sold out. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, sold out. Mission Viejo, California. Clearwater, Florida. Ogden Valley, Utah. Eden, Utah. Uinta County, Wyoming. Evanston, Wyoming. Redding, California. Essex County, Massachusetts, outside Boston. Kansas City. Lloydminster, Alberta, Canada. Aliso Viejo, California. Gilbert, Arizona. Chandler, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona. Those markets are sold out. But the good news is, if you didn't hear your market mentioned, you could still do this. So massiveagentsociety.com, hop on it, lifetime memberships, less than the cost, less than 6 months of coaching with Tom Ferry or his coaches, lifetime membership with us. Check it out. All right. How do you accomplish all this stuff? Okay. If you've been listening to this show for a while, we're 71 episodes deep. How do you implement it, right? Because we talk about so many different things. We've talked about YouTube. We've talked about Facebook ads. We've talked about content marketing in general, Instagram, Snapchat, all this stuff. And I hear all the time, oh my God, there's so many things that I need to do, right? I want to make a distinction. Yes, we talk about like the ideal situation. If you could ideally do all these things, here's what you should do. But the vast majority of us are not in a position where we have a giant team that can implement all this stuff for us. There's only so many hours in the day, and we still have to sell real estate. We still have to close loans. So it's okay to focus on implementing one thing before adding something else. In fact, I recommend it. So here's what I recommend you do. First, what is the number one thing that you want to do? Okay. Out of all the stuff that you want to eventually implement, maybe it's a video show you want to launch. Maybe you want to do your own podcast. Maybe you want to start a website. Maybe you just want to do Instagram stories regularly every day, whatever that thing is. And be honest with yourself. Okay. Don't let me and what we've talked about on the show sway you. Whatever it was that resonated with you the most, that you got most excited about, but haven't done yet, what is that thing? And then here is the number one variable to your success or failure in this business. Whether or not you're willing to actually do it. Work. The one thing is work. Guys, I'm not this Albert Einstein of real estate marketing. I mean, I think I know I'm pretty good. I think I'm a great marketer, but it's not like I'm this superhuman weirdo. Like, you guys can all do the same stuff I've done. I'm nothing special. Here's the difference. I've done it. I've just taken action and done it. So if you're sitting there, I respect these comments. I take them as compliments, and I know where you're coming from, and I appreciate it. But hear me when I say this. Like, whenever someone's like, how do you do all that stuff? Like, how do you have enough time? How are you able to do all these things? I just work. But you'd be surprised behind the scenes, guys. I'm not as well organized as you might think. If you know me personally, you know I'm not organized at all, really, aside from my calendar. But there's a lot of things that I want to do that have taken a backseat to other things, or that are just delayed. Like, we're still putting our podcasting course together, our podcasting for real estate masterclass. We're still putting that together. I thought that would have been done a month ago, but we just, so many things have come up that we haven't been able to do that yet. So I'm juggling a lot of different things, and some things, like some of those balls that I'm juggling, fall to the ground, but I just keep going. I just keep doing it. So it may on the outside look like, oh my God, he's doing all these things, but the only variable there is I'm taking action and doing them, right? So you have to give yourself some permission to not do everything. Focus on the things that you must do. That's it. I can't stress this enough. The only difference between you and the market leader in your, like that number one team selling 1 million homes a month in your market, the only difference is they put in the work to implement systems. They put in the work to do shit. So what's great about that, and what's super encouraging, or what should be extremely motivating and encouraging to you, is knowing they're not some super genius. In fact, most of these big top producers, like, you meet them in person, you're like, how the hell do you sell 400 homes a year? You know what I mean? And I mean that with respect. Well, kind of. I mean, I guess it's kind of an insult, let's be honest. But you know what I mean? They're not these superhumans that like have this whole other level of like secret things that they've done. And unless you know the secrets, you'll never reach their level of success. It's not like that. They've just done it consistently enough and put in the work and the time and the money to do it. That's the variable. You fully control it. It's work and consistency. That's empowering, guys. Like, literally, that's the only thing standing in your way of having that dream career, that dream business, that thriving business that you've always wanted. The only variable is work, and you control whether or not that happens or not. Let that sink in for a second. I think that is a big deal. Once you accept that you fully are in charge, now it's time to get some work done. All right. So write down that number one thing. What's the one thing that you want to do? For me, for a long time, if you've been listening for a while, you know my story of how I launched this podcast back in January 2018. I had always wanted a podcast. It wasn't even on a physical list. It was just in my head of one of those things that I wanted to do. And I was walking the dog and I just decided, well, I'm just going to go home and launch a podcast and call it the Massive Agent Podcast, because Massive Agent sounds bigger than Mega Agent, which is a common term. And that's it. Like, I didn't think about it much more than that. I was just like, do it. And I did. And I've done it consistently every week since. And it's changed my life. It's changed my business. It's changed my career. And it's impacted a lot of you guys in your careers as well, which is unbelievably heavy and humbling heavy and humbling when I think about it. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much, because I want to be able to actually speak and get through the rest of this. But it all comes down to that one decision, the decision to start. If you're trying to get back in shape, personally, I've struggled ever since my mid-20s. Ever since 30, I've struggled with consistently exercising. I played college football for half a season before I got injured. I've always been in great shape. High school, I was the football guy, I was just like that athlete guy. But I've struggled since I got to about age 30. Usually because I have not balanced work, and I haven't done well with my time. It's very easy to use the excuse of I don't have the time. Well, guess what? We all have the frickin' time. It's just what we prioritize in our time. How are some people able to accomplish so much in such a short period of time when others seem to waste the day away every day? If you're totally up to date on all your Instagram stories, you've watched all the Instagram stories on your feed, but you haven't yet written that article that you've been putting off for a month and a half, there's a clue of where you can start, So back to the gym analogy, because the squirrel, once again, makes an appearance on episode 71 as our most famous, most beloved, frequent, and featured guest, the squirrel. Anyways, so the hardest thing about starting to exercise is starting. It really is. Like, going to get the gym membership, it is a huge step towards actually exercising and actually getting in shape. Just getting the gym membership, and then getting your shit, putting your shoes on, getting in the damn car and driving to the gym. If you can do that day 1, day 2 is so much easier. Day 3 is even easier. Day 4 is even easier. The hardest part is starting. The same thing with implementing a content marketing strategy, implementing a Facebook ad strategy, learning Facebook ads, which when I first started, I was so intimidated by. It's one of the reasons why we started the Massive Agent Society, to move you guys closer to the goal line. So to really speed up that learning curve, to save you a shitload of money and time. It's because I know what it's like to look at this thing and be like, oh my God, all right, I know I need to do Facebook ads, but I don't what's CPM? It costs per 1,000 impressions. What's the M? Why isn't it just CPT? You got to learn all these things. Campaign, ad set, ad, audience, impression. What's impression? What's reach? How do you actually put an ad together? All that stuff, intimidated the shit out of me. When I started blogging with my website, that intimidated the shit out of me, especially trying to learn SEO. SEO at the time was one of the biggest, most intimidating things I've ever come across in my career, because I didn't think there was any possible way I could wrap my head around it. It seemed so complicated and so confusing and so involved and so many different things. Once I finally just started taking one step at a time, learning one thing at a time, pretty soon I looked back and I was like, SEO is freaking easy. Sure, some of the tactics can be complicated, but the concepts and the ways to really do well with SEO are not complicated once you jump into the trenches and start doing it. Same thing with this, guys. So let's say that you have decided you're going to start a podcast yourself. And because I know, because I've received the messages from you. Well, I don't know what mic to get. I don't know how to record. I don't know how to edit audio. What should I call my show? How often should I do it? All these things. Guess what, guys? Where there's a will, there's a way. You just have to decide. Just decide. You could always change and pivot and make adjustments later on. It's not like it has to be perfect from episode 1. And if you heard our episode 1, you know what the hell I'm talking about. It was a disaster, I think. Or my Industry Connected show that we just launched last Friday. I think that was a disaster. It was the first episode. I'm trying to get my feet. Even though I've been podcasting for a year and a half and doing Facebook Lives all the time, I still feel like there's a lot of value there in the first episode of Industry Connected. Don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of value, but the way I saw it going in my mind, I could have done a hell of a lot better and been a lot more concise and a lot more linear in my delivery. And I feel like I did not perform as well as I could, but it is what it is. Episode 2, I will do better. Episode 3 will be better than episode 2, and so on. Guys, you see the theme here. You see the theme here. This is not just a business thing. This is anything in life. Exercise, your family, your faith, whatever it is. You want to learn a new hobby, a new skill. Maybe you want to learn woodworking or something. I have a neighbor across the street that's constantly, you hear his saws going all the time because he like builds furniture for a hobby. Do you think he just jumped in and started like knowing how to build a nightstand and have it look like something you get from Ethan Allen or something? No, I mean, you have to learn by doing. Guys, I implore you, if there's anything on this show that has jumped out to you or anything that you know that you should be doing or that you really want to be doing in your business, ask yourself why. Why haven't you done it? Why haven't you started? I would bet you the answer is one of two things. You use the time that I don't have the time excuse, or you use the I don't know how to do it excuse. Both of those things can be overcome quite easily. Make time for it. Learn how to do that shit. Seriously. It's not easy, but it's simple. And some of this stuff is easy once you get doing it. Once you actually start. Podcasting is easy once you learn a few things. Look, and I've told you on the show before, if podcasting is one of those things you want to start doing, but you don't know some of the answers, then we have a podcasting course that I'm putting together because of the feedback I'm getting from you guys. I know there's the demand there, but if equipment, if you're like, I don't know what mic to get, what do I need? Go to massiveagentpodcast.com/resources and go check out our podcasting resources. There's a link to our Amazon store, our podcasting gear, Amazon store, where I show you the mics I recommend. Okay. There's 2 mics on there. Pick one. They're both awesome. I wouldn't have one that's great and one that's shit. Pick one. One is, for people with more of a budget or a smaller budget. Then there's the Blue Yeti mic, which I'm using right now, which is a little bit more expensive, but has better sound. It's just much, 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 much more sensitive. So you have to, not have screaming kids 10 feet away, which sometimes happens when I'm trying to record. I just edit that out. But check it out. Go learn what those things are, or YouTube it. Guys, so much of what I've learned in my career, learned how to do in my career was by YouTubing stuff. You can't, after this episode, guys, you no longer have permission to use the I don't know how to do it excuse. It's bullshit. You know it is. It's just easy. It's an easy excuse. And full transparency, I use it too from time to time until I realize, wait a minute, nobody knows how to do this thing before they start doing that thing. So I'm going to go learn how to do that thing and then start doing that thing. I YouTube it. I Google it. I take the time, I prioritize it, and I frickin' start doing it. You no longer have permission to use that excuse. And then the only excuse that remains is I don't have time. Look, I understand. I have 2 young kids. I juggle a lot of different business ventures. Thank God they're all related. I can't imagine if I had like a skincare company and then like a tax services, at least they're all related. But my God, I understand. So you have to prioritize and do it. Stop scrolling through Facebook all day. Get off Instagram for a minute and go launch that damn podcast. Go record that video that you've wanted to do. Go record your episode 1 and launch it. Maybe it sucks at first. Make episode 2 better. I promise you guys, you can absolutely crush it. Content marketing is the biggest, most powerful marketing strategy that we have that really is the solution to all the disruption happening. That this is the solution that we're talking about on Industry Connected is, first off, we talk about the problem of Amazon doing who knows what, probably going to buy, I think it's probable. This is all speculation, of course. I think it's probable Amazon will buy Redfin. They're both based in Seattle. Redfin already uses Amazon Web Services for their cloud. Redfin would be a great model for Amazon, and then Amazon could just sell hey, we'll just sell your house for free if you get your mortgage with us, insurance and all the other stuff. So what happens if, Zillow takes over, Amazon takes over, and you're nothing special? If you're not a local influencer, if you're not a local celebrity, if you don't have great brand recognition, if you can't be seen and found through Google searches, you're done. You're done. Your referrals will dry up because they're all going to go sell their house for free with Amazon. A lot of referrals are already drying up. They're using Redfin or Homey or whatever the hell else exists in your market. It's already happening. If you remove your head from the ass, you know it's true. The solution and the way to protect yourself and actually the way to thrive in this environment is content marketing. Become the local expert, the local celebrity, the local influencer, have great brand recognition, be everywhere online. That's how you beat Zillow. You just have to do it. But if you don't ever start because you don't know how or you don't have time, well, you're going to have a lot of time once you're out of business. It's hard to hear. But I think the vast majority of our industry will be out of business because we're lazy and we're not willing to let go of what's worked for us in the past to build something that's going to work for us in the future. Don't be the former, guys. Be the latter. Be willing to put in the work right frickin' now. Get rid of this I don't have time excuse bullshit. Get rid of this I don't know how to do it excuse. Hire a damn coach. Take a course. Become a Massive Agent Society member if you'd like. YouTube it. Google it. Read articles. Watch videos on how to do this stuff. The resources are there. You just have to do it. That's why the librarians of the world are not billionaires. It's not the information that makes you successful. It's whether or not you take advantage of it and implement it and take action. That's it. Whew. Guys, I had a couple more things I wanted to mention, but I'm not going to. I want to just kind of leave it there. I want you guys to look internally, figure out what that one thing is that you've always wanted to implement, and then do it. Audit yourself, audit your day, audit what you spend time on each day, and figure out how you can squeeze another hour or two a day out. Maybe if you're the most efficient person in the world and you do nothing but productive activity all day, then work 2 extra hours a day. You can do that. Once the kids are in bed, work from 10 to midnight. If those who are willing to work are going to win, those who are not will lose. Simple as that, guys. All right. Our Alexa flash briefing. Guys, I hope you have, I usually unplug it. Hang on. We had a little technical difficulties for about a week, but the Massive Agent Minute is back. We still do one episode every single day, even Saturday, even Sunday, 7 days a week. All you have to do to your Alexa device or on your Alexa app is say, Alexa, enable the Massive Agent Minute, and then listen every day. Just say, Alexa, play my flash briefing, and every flash briefing you've enabled will play. Make sure you leave us a review. If you have been listening to the Massive Agent Minute for any period of time, please go on the Alexa app or even Amazon.com on your laptop and leave us a review. Okay. It helps us out tremendously. It helps us reach new people, new audiences, and it's a way to support the show that we appreciate very, very much. Same thing with reviewing this podcast in iTunes or wherever you listen. Please if you don't have time to write a review, I understand. Just leave a rating. You just tap, boom, the number of stars. Hopefully we've earned 5. Tap the number of stars, and that's it. It literally takes 2 seconds. Go to massiveagentpodcast.com/review to do that. Very simple. massiveagentpodcast.com/review. Please leave us a review if you have not, or a rating. It helps us out tremendously and helps us grow our audience and have a better show. So thank you guys. I really want you guys to hear what I'm saying about the Massive Agent Society and the lifetime memberships. All right. I had a couple people last week that they just discovered the podcast and they were like, hey, I just heard about, I just discovered you, but my market's sold out. Is there anything you can do? There's not, unfortunately. Once your market is sold out, especially with a lifetime, it's gone. So there's an advantage to the first mover. I'm sorry. It's not fair to everyone else to make exceptions. We will not tolerate having 12 different agents in one market running the same ads. Not okay. So go find out if your market is available, massiveagentsociety.com. And most markets are available. All right. Most are. It's not, we don't have 10,000 members yet. So go ahead, check it out. You'd probably be surprised even in some major markets, what areas are still available, but you have to take the initiative and go check and then actually join. The action part is a huge variable in success. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it very, very much. Please, I implore you, go implement the stuff that you have wanted to implement. It will change your life. It will change your life for the better. You will learn how to do it along the way. If I, Dustin Brohm, one of the most rough around the edges, totally like I get a wild hair and I'm off, doing something else. If I can do stuff, you can do stuff. Simple as that. Thank you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.